Hey, Tim! It's Thursday. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means that we're recording a new episode of As the Buckle Turns, premiering every Saturday on the ZOP Gaming channel. Are you ready?
No.
I said... Tim, why are you doing this to me? I hate you. Why do you have to ruin our cold opener like this?
Because what I want to talk about is 5G!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is time for a brand new episode of As the Buckle Turns. As always, I'm Adam.
I'm Tim.
And we have a show for you guys this week. We have a show.
For some reason, you insist on me not talking about 5G, which pisses me off.
We've been over that, Tim. Look, we can't discuss that. We'll get banned from all kinds of social media for promoting the truth.
Because they're in on it.
And remember, it's quotations and copyright. The truth. Trademarked. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go over AEW. We got to go over NXT. We got ratings to talk about, and right away.
But breaking news.
The XFL!
Yesterday.
Yes, Wednesday.
Wednesday. No, actually, it was earlier than that.
Tuesday,
I think it was. Breaking news from Tuesday.
Breaking news. This just in.
Just in. The XFL was bought by by the Rock's ex-wife. Oh yeah, he's in part of it too.
And The Rock. And a third party, Redbird Capital. So yeah, it's a three-party group that came together. Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital. And they bought the XFL.
I'm pretty sure Danny and The Rock are are a single entity because they're business partners. So
right.
They
went into this as separate entities in going into a new business venture.
Because
venture.
Because they, from what I understand, they're splitting the payments two ways. So the Rock and Danny are going to be paying half of the $15 million.
Oh,
that's how it was. That's how I read.
I read it that all three parties were splitting this evenly.
No, because The Rock and Danny are business partners, so they're going to own the same amount of shit.
That's through the production company $7 Productions.
Yeah, basically because they were married, then they got divorced.
Yeah, and she stayed on it as his manager / business partner.
Well, basically because, as he said, they just kind of fell out of love, but they got along. They still got along. They still cared about each other, but they just weren't in love anymore, and they stayed on. And
that happens.
As you can see, she was instrumental in his career as an actor.
Yeah.
But so what I understand is those two, because they are business partners, they are technically one entity.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I understand it as.
Well, either way, this new group, which are now calling themselves Alpha Akiko LLC. Mm-hmm. I had to actually look up how to pronounce that.
Yes, and they're each going to split the payment $15 million.
$15 million. They bought the XFL, a league, for $15 million.
You know what this reminds me of? Vince buying WCW
for $1 million.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, at the same time, he wasn't buying any of the big name contracts because they were all with TNT instead.
Yeah, well, not just that, but still, it's the ring ropes, everything.
Oh yeah,
when Jericho found out how much Vince paid for, he's like, dude, I could have bought this.
Yeah, exactly. There were a lot of people. Anyway,
yeah.
But it looks like there will still be some form of the XFL going forward, which
possibly
maybe
because the editors who Vince owns money to are trying to stop this. Because they probably want it to go for more money than $15 million because they're there. So they're going to try to stop it. But tomorrow, we're recording this on a Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, they are going to be going. This could be approved. If it's approved, The Rock is the owner.
Yep.
And if it's not approved, they maybe higher price needs to go up, whatever it is. But what was originally supposed to happen before this on Friday was supposed to be the auction for the XFL.
Which just means that it would actually go for less.
Yeah, pretty much. But because they were the only credible creditors who put a bid in, they were able to go this. And now it's just got to go to the final steps to get the final approval. So it'll be interesting to see. But
I can't wait.
I mean, if anyone who can turn the XFL into something that works, it's The Rock. Now, let's be honest, the XFL before actually was doing decent numbers in attendance before the pandemic.
Yes.
The ratings kept going down, but the attendance was going up for the most part. So it's definitely interesting.
I feel that they need to, if they're going to bring the XFL back, it needs to spend its first year or two more worried about attendance than actual ratings.
Yeah.
As long as they're hitting their demo numbers that their advertisers and sponsors and all that want to see, as long as they're hitting those numbers, good. The focus should be more about making the fans at the stadiums, at the arenas, happy and wanting to come back.
Not just wanting to come back, but also will watch when they don't come to the show.
If they can't buy tickets for that week's show or that week's game, they'll instead buy.
They'll still watch
it on TV.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that actually AEW is doing pretty good. They've been putting on shows which would have had a concentration on the audience that's there while putting on a TV show. But you see that it's more about the fan reaction and reacting with the fans than anything else. That's what the XFL just needs to focus on. Is building a fan base instead of being like, well, we didn't hit 1 million people watching it this week. It's a failure.
Yeah. And also trying to be small, look for the lower rating numbers.
Yes.
So when you get the higher ones at the beginning, when people are tuning in,
it's just meant to be a spike,
and they fall, you're expecting that. So when you get those normal numbers, and you're not worried about TV, you got on TV, but you're still looking enough so you're doing good numbers with the advertisers are happy for. But it's going to be enough. Mostly, you're not aiming on that. You're aiming just getting a product out there, so fans who attend are happy. People will watch when they don't come to a game. Or their team is playing away and they can't get there. That way, you're getting viewership because that's how you'll get people to watch those numbers up.
Exactly.
And overall, and one of the things they could possibly do would be a smart thing to do is eventually, maybe even to begin with, is negotiate with the NFL to be a feeder league.
It would be great. What I would actually love to see is the concept that the Premier League has in England, where you have, the Premier League, and then there's a secondary league that if you're the top team, you get moved up to the NFL next year, and their bottom team gets dropped down.
The NFL owners would never allow for that.
I know they wouldn't, because they'd be like, well, I'm going to lose TV. It's like, well, stop having a shitty team.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns are the first team to go down.
Followed by the Buffalo Bills.
Even better is that's the first year that the Cleveland Browns had a winning season. It still was the worst record in the NFL. Everyone else had a better season that year.
Yeah. The Browns and Buffalo would be in that followed by the Jaguars. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to throw your AEW money in jeopardy by saying stuff like that.
No.
Unless you start giving me some of that cash. I know.
I don't have any cash.
Sure you don't. We're talking about it this week after the show.
I mean, okay. All right.
You said it last week you did, but you kicked me out. But we're doing it this time.
I mean, it's never cash. It's all digital deposits. But what? I mean, what? I didn't say anything. Anyway, time to move on.
Speaking of numbers and ratings,
we have this week's ratings from AEW. When the Wednesday Night Wars are upon us.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
that was a great segue. But
Yeah.
did you hear that the Segways shop, factory and business is going out of business?
No,
Yeah, the actual Segways are going out of business.
the Segway is disappearing.
Yes.
No.
What kind?
How will we how will we move from one thing gently to another one?
I don't know.
How will mall cops ever continue to patrol the malls?
Hoverboards?
Really, okay. We're getting away from this stuff. No, seriously, the first time I saw hoverboards, I was like, so someone took the handle off a Segway?
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you seen the one wheel yet?
I think I have.
It's basically
Someone.
a skateboard, Segway / hoverboard. You lean to one side and you go forward in that direction. Even better is that one actually goes uphill and downhill without having like weird issues. Segways always had that issue,
Yeah, that's not surprised.
going downhill because due to human nature, you can't lean that far forward while going downhill. So it would just keep like being like stalling out. It's a design flaw. Anyway, speaking of design flaws, I've got numbers for you.
Yeah, well, with Segways going away.
Yeah, they're ruined now. Yes, it's the Wednesday Night Wars, ladies and gentlemen. AEW versus NXT. This week's ratings, holy crap. AEW did good numbers.
Yeah, they did.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to start off with the total number of both shows this week. Total number Wednesday night of wrestling fans watching, 1.654 million viewers. I want you to remember that number because it was bigger than Raw's number this week.
Yep.
Raw had a 1.4. 200,000 more people were watching wrestling on Wednesday night than they watched Raw.
Yep.
Raw has a 25-plus year fan base. It's been around forever.
And ratings was up this week by 100,000, and AEW and NXT numbers combined did better.
Yes.
Which is brings us the point of about the stock options of how AEW and NXT can bring in ratings, and Raw just keeps falling, and SmackDown.
Yeah. Anyway, so AEW won this week.
Obviously.
With 901,000 viewers. That's a jump of 128,000. You know what it was?
What?
It was just the Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho segment. You know it.
No.
That's what drew everybody in.
No. Because we all know Orange Cassidy's a ratings plunger.
Oh, yeah. He's the worst thing that has ever happened to pro wrestling.
Yeah. He's a mockery of the sport, according to, what's that guy with the tennis racket that is forbidden to talk about?
Oh, yeah, that guy?
Yeah, that guy, who's an idiot. No, it was clearly the debut of Matt Cardona.
That was last week.
In-ring debut of Matt Cardona.
Star. In-ring debut.
Where he won the match with the rough Cardona.
It's not a writer. Okay. No, it's got to be the 12-man match that started the show.
That had the Dark Order in it. Nobody gives a fuck about the Dark Order, so...
Dark Order is over as fuck right now.
I know.
I could not tell you any one specific thing that AEW did differently this week than they have been outside of, honestly, having... Yeah, I could not, like... They... whatever.
I don't
NXT.
know. Like, from everything I've read about the show, they didn't really do anything different.
No, there was no sudden crazy, like, attention grabber headline. But yes, there was Darby Allin versus Moxley for the title.
Was a great matchup. The 12-man tag was a great matchup.
It advanced storylines.
Yeah, but so that's probably one of the reasons why I was up. But it's just like, but going into it, we knew these matches, but we didn't know it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
So it's the huge jump. I don't know, but it's a good thing. And NXT's numbers were up, which is always a great thing.
They jumped by 46,000 this week.
That's good. It's still up.
Yeah, I like seeing things.
You were gonna say plummet.
No, I almost said I like to see things going up, but I know that somebody out there would be like, he said things going up.
He said things going up.
No, damn you, Tim. No, I like to see the numbers going up. I like to see more and more people watching the programs, wrestling coming back to the mainstream. I would love to see, people actually going, no, this is what wrestling is now. NXT, what NXT is presenting, what AEW is presenting, that's wrestling today.
Yeah.
You want to go watch the old stuff? I mean,
Yeah, that's the network.
you can check out Monday Night Raw and
Yeah.
SmackDown, or if you really want old presentation, NWA Power, which isn't on the air right now. I'm sorry.
It was never on the air. It's on YouTube.
Well, yeah, but they haven't been doing new.
I know what you're talking about. I just want to be an ass.
Speaking of, I do want to talk about Nick Aldis presenting the idea of having another match with Cody.
Yeah.
I like the idea, but we've already seen it at All In.
And then again, a few weeks later, when he dropped the
At
NWA,
the NWA show.
when he dropped it back to Nick Aldis, a tweet I saw was someone proposing it for the TNT Championship.
Okay.
And Tony going, book it.
I like the idea because that also means that Tony is open to having cross promotion with other brands.
Yeah. And in fact, he kind of stole what's his name? Stark, who's working with Taz now, with Brian
Brett.
Cage. I can't think. It's Brian Cage and this. I can't think of his name, but he was the first TV champion when they brought the TV title back.
Okay.
They basically stole him. Ricky Stark.
Oh, okay.
Basically stole him from his power. So,
By the way, and this is just me being the AEW fanboy that I've been.
and not the paycheck
For a
that you
while.
get from him.
Not at all. Nope, it has nothing to do with the
I
fact that they
knew
pay.
there-
What? What? Huh? No. Brian Cage, actually kind of a funny dude.
Oh yeah.
Because this week's BTE, the Young Bucks, Brandon Cutler, and Rick Knox missed their flight.
Okay.
So they got stuck at the airport for like another 9 hours.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, they had like nothing planned for getting stuck. So they had to go book the hotel. And Brian Cage is like, hungry, guys. Like, it keeps coming back to him. He's like, guys, I'm hungry. Finally, they do the breakfast thing. And they're like, Matt's like, oh, I got this. It's a very well-balanced breakfast. It's got carbs. It's got fruits. It's got vegetables. It's got proteins. And then they get over to Brian Cage's, and it's 8 eggs. It is 4 fried eggs. I think they were not over easy, but runny.
Yeah.
And a 4-egg omelet with nothing. So it's basically a 4 eggs scrambled and 4 fried. That was his breakfast. I was like, all right. He's one of those guys that it's just calories. That's all he's eating.
Well, that's because he needs calories.
He's so like,
I mean, it's protein too. All the
Yeah.
protein from the eggs. But yeah, when you get to that size, you're looking for calories because you gotta be.
you're working out so much that you're just burning. You're burning 6,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
While trying to eat 7,000 calories a day. You're like, I actually only eat 4,000 calories a day, 2,000 at breakfast, then the rest for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, at the same time, fat guy over here has done that recently.
2,000 calories is your basic meal. An average meal.
Yeah.
I mean, an average day. I mean.
That's supposed to be your average day.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Phelps, bring this over to, like, somebody people would know. Michael Phelps, during the Olympics, was eating a 1,600 calorie breakfast.
Yeah. No. Well, when you get into athletes, you're eating more than 2,000 calories in a day.
You have to.
Because you're at the professional level, you're burning so much.
And then for Brian Cage, weightlifters, it's because you need the bulk. You need your body to be as big as possible, and you're burning so many calories to get there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, going back to the ratings and everything. So it's great just to see this. From what I saw of NXT, and rather the show, it was a solid show.
Yeah, it really only has one highlight that we're going to talk about, and that's the Adam Cole segment.
Yeah.
With Pat McAfee.
You mean the tiny little munchkin?
Yeah. Adam Cole, you tiny little... I'm sorry, you're a fellow Adam. I can't be against you.
But you are.
But I am. I mean, I'm also against Pat rap god over here. McAfee. McAfee. The punter. All right. He's like, I don't like I never actually enjoyed celebrity matches.
Yeah, they're usually terrible.
Very few times will I be like, oh, okay.
The only really good one who's actually done well, even though he still got gassed. Is what's his name?
Are you going with Lawrence Taylor?
No.
Okay.
God no.
He got gassed in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm talking about Oliver Queen. I can't think of his name.
Stephen Amell.
There we go.
Who has gone on to actually, like, his first match, he clearly got gassed early.
Well, it's even SummerSlam, but everyone was comparing him to other celebrities who've wrestled, and they said, unlike other celebrities, he was still better than all of them.
Yeah. His second time...
He still got gassed. He was still
much better, but still, like, clearly, give this man enough time to actually train.
See, I watched his multi-man tag team match before All Out.
Yes,
because he got gassed in that. It's funny because you see the Bullet Club get in the ring after winning the match, and you just see they're all like they're posing, like telling him to get in, and he's just like, and he sits down on one knee. And he's like, you just see him like, and no one else who wrestled more than him, specifically Kenny, It's just my bag.
No, you unplugged the.
Oh, we're not recording anymore.
No, we're still recording. No, you just.
No. Because the cord is like right where my feet
are.
are.
I have to run it through there.
Because you're a bastard.
Because I don't have other places to plug it in.
You bastard. Anyway. But yeah, like Kenny, who was in the final closing of the match, if I remember correctly. But he's not even breathing heavy. But then you have Steven, who's just like.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen Kenny train?
Oh yeah,
his is 90% endurance is how he trains.
No, I know that, but it's just still, it's like you see, like no one else in the match is heaving, and you see Steven, and he's fucking fit, but he's still because there's nothing like pro wrestling when it comes to endurance.
I mean, outside of marathon running,
yeah, and that's not,
and even then it would be running a 100-yard sprint. Stopping, running a 100-yard sprint, stopping, like coming to a complete stop, and then just starting the next one immediately, over and over again, with occasionally that 1 or 2 moments of 15 seconds to maybe 30 seconds of rest.
Yeah, so which is good, but who knows? I'm assuming if Pat McAfee is going to be doing a match, which they have confirmed, he's going to be training in the Performance Center, so he's going there, and it's not a bad thing.
They'll do 700 different cuts during the thing just to mask over Pat's like getting gassed. They'll just be like, all right, we're gonna stop, time out, let Pat rest up, but let his face get back to a normal color.
But not even that, but like. It also comes down to who you have in the ring and you're facing.
Yes.
Lawrence Taylor was going against Bam Bam Bigelow. Well, Bam Bam Bigelow has been given totally credit to getting people over and different things. He's not the best wrestler.
No, and he was stiff.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to put somebody in the ring with a celebrity in any way, for safety reasons, you want somebody who's going to cradle everything.
Yeah.
You want them to be able to be carried. And Bam Bam's like, I don't carry anybody.
Yep.
Unless it's Sean, and then he's on my back.
And then...
oh, no, that's Vader. Never mind. Who's another one that, like, I would not have put Vader in that match either.
No. But Vader could go at least.
Oh, yeah, Vader could go. But, like, Lawrence Taylor would have received an elbow across his nose.
But Vader would have done business, so he still would have lost because Vader would do business.
Oh yeah,
he was a businessman.
He'd hurt you.
But he'd be a little more gentler than I think than Bam Bam because Vader
Probably.
Vader understands. Okay, you're a professional athlete who's coming in here. You take care of this one. But your fellow professional wrestlers, fuck that.
Yeah. I'm gonna hurt somebody in the back tomorrow.
Not like
Are you
not
are you Lance Archer?
yeah, not to the point like they're badly injured, but like you're gonna walk out sore.
Yeah. We're gonna have a stiff match.
But you're gonna have Adam Cole in this matchup, who is good at making everyone who's in the ring with look great.
Yes.
He's the caliber of Shawn Michaels in ring. He's a different version. He's not Shawn Michaels,
Right.
but he has that same ability.
Yeah.
Just like Cody did, and
With Stephen Amell. Yeah.
and Wade Barrett had to make Steven look good, even though he was gassed, and you had Neville on Cody's team, so it worked. And also, what was cool was we got to see that Steven had no problem throwing himself off the top rope to the outside.
Yeah.
Where he's a big Hollywood star in the middle of filming his season, so if he got injured,
It would fuck everything up.
I remember when he was training. I think this was for the All Out one. He was doing his training and he bit his tongue really, really hard. And he had lines that day, so it was just like trying to do my lines, and my tongue was swollen. It was just like it was not fun.
Yeah, it's like why would you bite your own tongue? Hey, that's a horrible flaw in the human body. Being able to eat the inside of our own mouths.
Yeah.
But okay, so clearly we all know that AEW had the better product because there's only one thing we're talking about from NXT, which, by the way, that was a great kind of a segment where with Triple H like literally getting in Pat's face, shoving him out of there, and giving him pushes that I kind of feel that they are a real Triple H. I'm going to shove you. And Pat, being just as big as he is, just didn't fall over. It was just like, no, I can handle it. And you're like, okay, you're a little bit bigger than I expected you to be.
Triple H was if Triple H is giving him his real pushes, he knows the guy can take them.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, Sean. Have a guy by the belt. Oh, I can't pull you back.
I can't pull you back enough.
Oh, no, he got punched.
Pat punted you in the face.
And sent you flying through the Titantron because you're a little bitty man.
Itty bitty little guy. But I do like the fact that obviously Sean is kind of the grandpa around the shop.
I know.
Like, that beard just aged him. Well, I mean, at the same time, his face has aged him.
There was a reason why that photo of him, Road Dogg, and Triple H, I said, oh, Grandpa Dog and Grandpa Michaels with their young one, fresh off the wrestling school, Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Triple H is in his mid to late 40s.
I think he's in his 50s now.
I know that Sean is in his 50s.
Yeah.
And Road Dogg, I think, is the youngest in the... No, Hunter is the youngest in the group. But still, like... Sean. That is... I'm not saying to ever dye your beard. Look, guys, if you go gray, this is just a bit of advice. Yeah.
He's 51.
51.
Triple H is 51.
Just a bit of advice here. If you go gray, just go with it. It doesn't matter when it happens, because you're talking to a guy here that is 40 and hasn't gone gray, but I've lost a lot of hair. My hair is running away from my face. I wish I could have gone gray and kept all my hair.
So Triple H is the youngest of the three.
God, he's a dad.
By 3 months.
3 months?
Road Dogg is 51. His birthday is in May. Triple H is in July.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. But yeah, like the segment, clearly we called this a couple of weeks ago when the whole Adam Cole and Pat having a shout out dropped. We called it then.
It was too much. Adam's reaction was too much of pro wrestling anger.
Like he got. I mean, at the same time, like there have been actual like barbs at each other. Adam does have a problem with people calling him small.
Well, yeah, but like the way he reacted, I've seen him like move that fast before in segments and all that because he's a fast guy. Yes, he is a shorter guy, but he's fast.
He's not 6 feet tall.
But he
like I'm just definitely he is 5'10", maybe.
So
because otherwise Pat is like 6'8".
Yeah. So it just the reaction just looked way too much of pro wrestling reaction. I have no doubt, Cole, if you really got him pissed off in real life, he would move, but you could tell there would be a difference between him getting pro wrestling angry and real angry.
Oh yeah,
you can just kind of tell.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there, and especially when the Undisputed Era shows up to turn out to be that new stable with because they're all they're all shorties. In Undisputed Era, they add Dijak Kojak because you have to have a tall guy who's the leader. You can't have a short guy like Adam Cole.
Of course.
And you just watch Cole roll his eyes while he's in the same. And like, my contract's almost up. I'm leaving.
I can't wait to get out of
They
here.
don't think I'm leaving because I'm riding them on.
Yeah.
But no. But yeah.
Well, because Adam Cole is his ring name that he's had the entire time.
Yeah, so he owns it.
He probably... Oh, my God. I can't wait for the first time he shows up any place else. And he just goes, Adam Cole! And the audience just yells back, baby!
Yeah.
And it'll be like, the first time that happens, Vince is like, we need to sue them over that. That's gimmick infringement. And Hunter and Sean just go...
No.
That was his gimmick beforehand. Oh, Hunter and the PA.
The PA, excuse me, Vince, he had that beforehand. Don't care. We had it. We own it.
Super kick.
No. We owned it while he was signed.
He's
no longer signed, so all that reverted back to him.
Yep. Oh, and all the shirts of his that we have still, that we're still selling, he still gets a portion of that.
Until they're gone.
Until they're done.
Yeah. Or we stop selling them.
Yeah. We need to stop selling them. They're one of our best sellers. All right. Let's move on to AEW, which had a bunch of highlights to talk about. Like the 12-man match, tag team match, to kick off the show.
Smells like someone who's being paid wants to talk a lot about AEW.
Shut up. I hate you. I hate you so much right now. Anyway, 12-man match. Like, who kicks off a show with it? Who has a 12-man tag team match?
Every other pro wrestling show outside of WWE.
I know. Yeah, that actually, yeah, never mind. That's,
it really is.
Yeah, there's a ton of 8-man and above 6. Yeah, never mind.
Unless it's WWE and they feel like they want to have like every single person on the main star on the roster in one match because reasons.
Yes. Here, there is a actual reason for this. The Dark Order, plus Colt Cabana, took on FTR, Adam Page and Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. There is constant storyline going on there, and the storyline of the Dark Order trying to get a win.
I'm just trying to get a win, but...
It's weird, because Evil Uno and Stu, they keep getting wins. It's Silver and... Oh, God, I don't remember.
Reynolds.
And Reynolds, that just cannot get a win.
No. But it's also... Brody Lee's been trying to get any member of the Elite to join the Dark Order.
Yes, speaking of Matt Jackson, drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
drank the Kool-Aid
because Alex Reynolds and
just poured it in.
Alex Reynolds and
Silver
and John Silver are like, yeah, we're Christian as fuck.
Christian AF. and the choir is a little off when they do it, and then Matt's just like, no, that's not how you do it. And then it's Christian AF.
But then the book, it's just
like,
something
this isn't even the Bible.
It's not even the Bible, and they throw it. It's like he's drank some of his Silver's Kool-Aid.
It just swished it and kept going.
And then Broly's like, so did you guys successfully recruit the young bucks?
Well, they drank the Kool-Aid.
They drank the Kool-Aid.
So they joined us. Well, no. God damn it! He just throws the book. I love the fact that that Brody Lee is surrounded by. It's basically Megatron and the Decepticons. He is surrounded by people who are pretty good at doing what they do, except for the fact that for some strange reason, they keep fucking it up over and over and over again. Like Silver Silver and the other guy, never been able to get anybody. Kicked Jungle Boy out of the room this week because they thought it was Griff Garrison.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? That one was great because I loved that segment. Brody Lee walking in and be like, "So why'd you guys did we get Jungle Boy?" And he's like, "No, that was Griff Garrison." You idiot. Evil Uno, I enjoy all of them as characters. Evil Uno is I did not realize how much better of a character he is as a kiss ass / comedic character.
Well, because when you watch his Player One,
that's what
Player
he was.
Uno was his character on the Indies and all that. So when they brought him in as Evil Uno and they just kind of went the dark route, was clearly the bad mistake for them.
It was bringing Brody Lee in and doing the course correction that they've done since.
They've done multiple course corrections.
Right now, they've gotten them on a better path.
Yes, but they had the original idea. Then they started drawing members because that was to build up towards Marty Squirrel joining, but then he didn't. That
signed
big
a much
angle,
better deal with Ring of Honor.
That big angle at the end of the year last year that was supposed to be the reveal, but because he didn't, that whole angle sank them.
Yeah, it did.
And no
also
one
having the random member just punching the mat.
Yeah.
On the hard cam side.
Yeah.
That did not help.
So bringing in Brody Lee, it definitely was. It all worked overall.
I like the idea that they're constantly on a recruitment drive.
Yeah.
But they're failing at recruiting.
Yeah. But Brody Lee is good at recruiting people.
Exactly.
Sort of. He has Colt Cabana hanging out with them, but he's not a member yet.
No.
And Anna Jay is apparently part of them, but we don't know for a fact because she just says when you ask her, she says, "Let's just talk about the tournament." Like if you watch the Deadly Draw tournament that debuted on Monday.
Yep.
It actually had some good action on there. You should go check it out.
Oh, cool.
She just constantly said, well, "Let's not talk about it because you don't talk about the cult's business." Oh, by the way, how do you forget about break the first rule of Fight Club on Twitter, Shane?
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
And by the way, Tommy Dreamer, awesome quote. But awesome tweet.
We'll get to Raw. Underground.
I've literally fought Shane McMahon in a warehouse hundreds of times. And how do you break the first rule of Fight Club?
Damn you, Shane. Look, great match between Darby and Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I gotta go and check that one out because I've heard the story.
Lots of storytelling in it.
Yeah, like not just for Darby, but also for John, like rooting on this up and comer, like who he just sees so much of himself in. But
there's so much fire and heart in this kid.
At the same time, telling him to quit because he's basically telling him his younger self to quit.
Yeah.
And, it's like the great storytelling, and then having MJF trying to screw Moxley over because he doesn't want to face Moxley.
Yeah, it's too good of a challenge there, man.
It's too hard. He definitely thinks he could beat Darby.
Yeah.
And not being able to do that. So, but it is official at All Out. We have not Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. Sorry, I did that wrong. I did that wrong. Jon Moxley versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
I want Justin Roberts to do it just like that.
Yeah.
The big thing from Moxley, and then just MJF.
Yep.
Maxwell J. Friedman, whatever. Doesn't even finish the word. Maxwell J. Friedman. You know what? Whatever.
Yeah,
he just drops the mic and walks away.
It's MJF. You guys know.
You know who he is. Just sits down.
So, which is kind of cool because MJF is technically undefeated in singles competition.
Yes, he is.
Which I hate when people say that in WWE because it's the lazy way because they had to give the person a loss because they were going against someone on a tag match.
Or in a triple threat match. Or...
It's usually a tag match
Yeah.
if they lose. They don't get pinned, though, but
Nope.
because they were it was against someone, a bigger star, but they just couldn't do anything else. But they he's still undefeated in singles competition.
Yeah.
But your wins and losses don't mean anything, so you can't say that.
It doesn't mean... I mean, overall this year, MJF's record's 8-1.
Yeah, and that was in a tag match that he got the loss.
One is a tag.
That's why I said in singles competition, because they actually break out singles, tag team, trios for their wins losses.
If I saw correctly, there was a breakdown. MJF is like number 5 so far this year for overall record.
Overall, it's possible.
And like the top 3 are champions.
Yeah. But
the top 4 are all the champions. It's like Cody, John. I think it was John, Cody,
probably
Adam, and then Kenny.
Probably.
And it was just like, holy crap, that's totally true.
If you actually pay attention to their overall, you'll see that they don't actually have one for anything beyond trios.
Yes.
But it's still a loss in a trios does in a multi-man match beyond the trios still counts in your overall. It's just there's no separate one because
actually would mean that if MJF has gotten closer to passing the current tag team champions in record.
Possibly.
That would be crazy.
But just so you know, this also means that Evil Uno, he's undefeated in 12-man tag matches.
Completely undefeated. So is Brody. You know what? John Silver, finally, undefeated.
Nope, because they faced off against...
in a 12-man match.
So wait, they wrestled twice? No, they didn't wrestle twice. They wrestled against Cody and Matt later in the night and lost.
Well, they wrestled twice then.
No, because they probably had 5 in the match. Oh, because it was probably Evil Uno.
Oh yeah, no, it was Brody, Evil Uno, Stu, 5,
Colt Cabana,
and
probably a minion or.
Oh no, there's 7.
Oh, 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 and 7.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because there's no
5, 7, and then Colt.
But they're
Yeah, that's
undefeated in 12-man tag. But John Silver and Alex Reynolds
still can't get a win.
They can't get a win.
Well,
at least people remember that they're part of the Dark Order. I completely forgot that they were part of the Dark Order for my fantasy booking, and they're never been mentioned. Well, it's kind of also easy to do that when the Dark Order hasn't appeared on my fantasy booking because
you forgot about them.
Oh no, I knew after fantasy booking Double or Nothing, I wanted to build them back up after I obviously had to have Brody Lee lose.
Yes.
That matchup. So to rebuild them back up, so I was taking this time off. So that was unlike the Inner Circle and the Broken Matt Hardy storyline that I completely forgot.
Just dropped that completely.
And if you actually watch my last night's episode or Wednesday's episode of Total Extreme Wrestling, TEW Fantasy Booking AEW, Total Extreme Wrestling.
Yes.
I had to use the old footage when I was actually simulating the game. Because I don't have my green screen right now, and I actually brought that up, and I was like, "Don't worry, I'll pick the Broken Inner Circle storyline up next after Firefest." I had to put text on there. Nope, it's the Freshly Squeezed Inner Circle storyline. Kind of give me a little preview of what's kind of to come, but
yes.
It was just like, nope, not happening. But what do we have else on there?
Well, dude. The debate between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy.
Waste of time. Total ratings suck. The lowest segment, because we all know Orange Cassidy is a ratings succubus, and
just destroys everything.
And the fact that they brought on that loudmouth doesn't know what's popular in wrestling at all. Eric Bischoff. to moderate just shows that AEW's in massive trouble.
I gotta say, it was one nice seeing Eric Bischoff back on TV.
Yep.
Um,
Especially after the feud that he had with Tony Khan.
Yes.
Because Tony Khan constantly bashed. We learned what not to do from WCW, and Bischoff kind of took that personally until he met him a few weeks ago, and they actually said, "No, we're not talking about just like you or anything like. We're talking about all the stories
that WCW did wrong."
Yes, I'm talking about stuff before you were in charge, like everything that was people tell stories about that was wrong with WCW and why it failed before. Then you had that bump, but then WWE brought their game back, and then people just couldn't figure out how to manage it. And then that's what he's learning from. He's not targeting him. And Bischoff said, "No, after I got it, I have a better understanding of what he meant." And now we see him make an appearance, which is really cool.
Yeah, totally awesome.
Because you cannot discredit Bischoff for what he did with the NWO and all that.
So one of the things that I got to point out, and it's something that Khan and AEW in general are doing better.
Mm-hmm.
They are still leaning heavily on legends in the past, but what they're doing better is that they are in supporting roles on TV.
Yes.
They are not. You're not having The Undertaker show up to take over a storyline because you need a ratings bump. Instead...
You mean showing up and winning a match that he wasn't even in?
Yes. Instead, you have Eric Bischoff coming in to moderate something. And hell, you know what? I'm going to float this idea right now. Eric Bischoff as GM, as an on-screen GM.
No. I'm done with fucking GMs in pro wrestling.
Okay, fine, whatever. You have Vicky Guerrero.
Well, just so you know, the reason why I said that, because I didn't watch it, but that was literally the question of the I guess they call it the podcast version of Wrestle Talk.
Yeah.
It was literally the title.
2-hour show that they do.
Yeah, they'll talk about they'll actually more break down between, like, the literally thing was, should Bischoff be the GM of AEW? I was like, no. I'm not even watching this, but like, no.
Yes.
I'm done with GMs on.
You gotta have an authority figure at some point.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Because we all know
who's in charge then. Who's booking the shows?
Tony Khan.
So then you got to put Tony Khan on TV.
No, you
at some point.
No, you don't. Because everyone knows, because from the history and the announcements, Tony Khan is the guy behind it.
Yes, but that's like, you still at some point need to have, because you're going to have somebody who at some point is threatening to take over. Like, they're going to go into business for themselves. There's going to be a 4 horsemen that's going to be running wild, and you need an authority figure to saddle them, to break them, to bridle them, and send them back off to pasture.
No, you don't. And you can still have it happen, like...
No, what you're sick of is the heel authority figure.
No.
What WWE has been like, we're going to roll the same thing out for 25 plus years.
I'm just talking about a GM in general, because Tony Khan has done what you're talking about without appearing on TV. The whole suspension storyline for Big Swole, he did off camera. You can do that because, you know why? Because he knows how to use social media to further storylines without actually having to appeal, because people know he's in charge. You don't need an on-screen GM. You just don't.
Anyway, I enjoy the fact that they're bringing in these legends, if you will, for some of whatever. They're past superstars, past wrestlers, past on-screen performers.
I was about to say, great use of WWE terminology in an AEW segment.
At the same time, like Vicky Guerrero, could you call her a legend?
Man, yeah, I would call her a legend in the role that she was. Yes. She was very good at what she did.
I enjoy the fact that they, her, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Taz. I enjoy the fact that they're celebrating the past while using those people in a supporting role to build up and work other people instead.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much for doing this.
That's what you used to do back in the territory days.
Once somebody had, reached a point where in ring that they were just like, look, I can't do it anymore, but I'm not walking away from the company. And they're like, well, we can make you a manager.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get 1 or 2 matches out of you throughout the year instead. And then, oh, guess what? This person's so over as a manager now, we don't need to put them in the ring anymore.
But they can still take bumps if they need to take
if
a bump.
They need to
take a bump to sell the storyline or something like that, which is a bump every few weeks versus multiple bumps in a match.
Yeah.
But also another good example of this is using veterans or legends or something like that. Back when The Rock first came in, people were getting in his ear and to give him bad advice. Vince was worried about this because he saw great potential in him. And even though they hadn't figured out how to use him yet.
Not yet. It was coming.
He put him with Ron Simmons because he knew Simmons would steer him correct.
Yes.
And that's why he did it, and it worked great. And because Simmons, while he was being used well in storylines, they weren't ever going to really do much with him beyond, because they knew he was at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he still had a much longer run than really you would have expected out of somebody that they determined in mid-90, in 95, 96.
He didn't come over until 96, 97. 96? Yeah, 96.
It would have been 96.
96 because right after Ahmed Johnson debuted, not debuted, but won the Intercontinental Championship from Goldust, he attacked him.
Oh, okay.
So it was 96.
96. But still going, all right, you're at your end of your career. Ron had 4 more years.
But that's not there. When they were never gonna put him into that elevated main event level talent.
Right.
He still had many years left in his career, in different ways of use. They actually used people better back then.
At least they used people back then.
And let them be they'd be over. I mean, look how over the Acolytes of Destruction got when they became the APA.
Yeah.
If you could have figured out a way to turn them into use that momentum and that overness in a singles level for Farouk or Simmons, he could have easily had a short run as a WWE champion.
Yeah.
Because a few times, not always, but a lot of times, they would get very close to Austin level pops.
Yeah, which was, for me, always weird because be honest, did not like the APA at all.
Mostly because their whole gimmick was, most of the time those pops they were being paid to come out and help someone, beat someone up, and they're like, oh, and you hear that music because they had that distinct music for the APA, and you knew and they come out putting the gloves on, it was time to work. Like when they had the match with what was it, what's the, not the Dudleys, but the
Public Enemy?
Yeah, Public Enemy, and there was a table spot finish, and they didn't want to. They changed it, we're not gonna do the table spot, and
it's literally your gimmick is the table spot, Public Enemy. Why are we not doing it?
Literally about to walk out. They were really about to walk out, and they say we're not gonna do the table spot. We're gonna do everything else, but we're not gonna do the table spot, and left, trying to change it.
Literally walked to the ring with a table.
They told this to Farouk. Simmons goes what was that? They don't want to do a table spot, and but that's the finish. I know, but we're going to do it. Well, if they don't want to do the table spot, we'll bring the table to them. Okay, and they literally brought the table to them.
Yeah.
And you can see, if you can watch that, that is not an actual, if it looks
a
brutal,
beatdown.
It is them telling them, you do not come in here and try to change spots.
Not at the last second.
Because you don't feel like doing it. That's the spot.
You don't have the clout in this company.
Yeah. You don't, even if you did, you don't do that. That's going into business for yourself.
Yep.
And you know what they did after they got to the back? They walked up to them, shake their hands, and said thank you. Because they learned that they didn't want to do that, go through that again.
No, you don't. Not at all.
So, but it's one of those things you can get those levels and all that. But yes, it's definitely a great way of using it. What's next?
The chair spot between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy. Holy crap! 13 stitches. That's how many stitches it took to seal Matt Hardy's head.
Yeah.
It's clearly a mistaken spot, but...
Poor Matt Hardy, he says you're finally going to see the real Matt Hardy, and he got broke again.
He immediately get like
Sammy broke him.
you can clearly tell that it was meant to be a chair was supposed to be thrown at Matt. Matt was tried to have his hands up, and the chair just flipped in a way that, like, I don't know if it was the leg or the lip of something, caught him in the forehead.
Yeah.
But that was bright.
Yeah.
Like, when Sammy does his splash, you can actually see the blood splatter onto him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is, like, Matt is that. There's also a puddle on the table.
Damn. Yeah, you know, that's how you know it was accidental when you...
Well, also, Sammy goes over as he's about to do that, before he goes up onto the stage to do his splash, and he gives Matt a couple of strikes, as you normally do, and you advise your opponent, hey, we're doing this spot still. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to bet that he went, we're doing the spot. Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
he's like,
I'm sorry.
He's like, okay, is the spot is me to drive it? Should I do it still?
Do you still want me to do it?
Matt's like, yeah.
It's like, we need to finish it.
Yeah, that's the spot. So
the
go
call.
do it. I'm fine.
I'm just bleeding here.
I'm bleeding. And by the way, I'm like, next week you're gonna bleed.
You're gonna bleed.
You're gonna bleed. And you think
You're gonna bleed.
If
son.
you think this is bleeding, you're gonna pass out. We're gonna go.
We're gonna go Austin on you. Austin Hart. You're gonna pass out.
No.
Only it's gonna be real.
No, we're gonna go Eddie Guerrero level.
Oh God. No. That's way too much John Cena level.
Yeah. Okay, what's next on the docket?
WWE bought, AEW now owns an old WWE website address.
And possibly others.
Maybe you found one of them.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what happened was I found this from Wrestle Talk. Ali pointed this out, that if you go back and watch on the network some of the old Attitude stuff where they had these groups and they would actually have website addresses down there because it was the 90s, late 90s. The web was cool and new and all that, so it was cool to have websites.
Gotta have the website, bro.
So they registered all these domains. You could actually go there. There actually were websites. Well, right to censor, WWE doesn't own anymore.
What?
And if you actually go and type in right to censor, that's without an S, not right to censors. No, right to censor.
I accidentally put the S in there.
No.
Google.
No, I accidentally put the X in the link.
And I went to hit the link, and Google went, you don't want to go here.
No. I realized that, and I told him under it, like no, without the S.
Not even my virus protection on my computer. Like, normally that'll kick in if there's anything in like Google didn't even let me go there.
Yeah.
Google was like, no,
you don't want to.
You don't want to do this.
If you do, you have to turn this off. But
you have to turn this off and this off and this off.
But we highly recommend you don't do that and go here. But if you type in the right to censor.com,
yes,
it forwards you to AEW's website.
That's awesome.
That's probably one of the best marketing ploys of all time. Because people who are watching the network are like, oh, I remember this. What happened to that? I bet it's deactivated.
I'm going to check it out.
And
AEW.com. Let's check out what they've got here.
No, it's allelitewrestling.com.
Okay, whatever.
Get it right.
You pretentious bastard.
You should know this. You're getting paid. And I'm getting my cut of.
There's no payment. No one's giving me cash. It's all digital.
What was that?
What? All right.
But yeah, so it's cool. So it'll be interesting to go through to find all the 90s websites that they registered and see if AEW bought them. And they all, because that'd be hilarious. Because it's great marketing. Because all it costs them is like $60 or whatever it costs for the donate name.
I know at one point the cost was, I mean, sometimes if you're trying to buy it from somebody,
this is
like if somebody else already owns it. Now, if it's not a registered domain name,
it's probably
it's as low as $35.
Yeah, it's like pretty cheap. So if they buy it for like 4 or 5 years, that's $30, $35, $40 for each year. Oh wow. A few $100 for one website that all they're going to use it for is to redirect to their website.
Do it.
And who knows how many people are actually going to go and look at it? Who cares? But if someone does type that in from the people because they were watching the network and saw it and wanted to know. That's one person. It's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus where it could actually cost to acquire new fans, to people to get to your traffic, it can be cost hundreds of dollars to get just a few people.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're trying to do in your market, especially breaking in. So it's worth the money, and it's just simply as you're just redirecting it to your main website. That's all.
I also figured out through Twitter just now why AEW had such a great week.
What is that?
Sue. It's Trent's mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's the draw in the van. It's those two things. That's why. It's Sue in the van.
Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing as Ali
Yeah.
for criticizing this, because when WWE does it, they criticize it. And they should do it when AEW does it too. And I agree with this one. So why was there a camera in the van for a spontaneous attack on the minivan?
Everyone does it. Shut up. Just accept it. It's a wrestling thing.
Does WWE
just accept it?
Does AEW require all people who drive with their mom's vans to their mom who drives them? They have to have a camera in there.
Employees, just for safety.
Just to make sure that all people are safe and following social distancing standards.
You know it. You know it, man.
But yeah, it's just I probably wouldn't even notice it too much. But once I called it out, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, come on.
Oh,
You're breaking the 180, people. You're breaking the 180. But yeah, so yeah, that's everything.
that's the show, ladies and gentlemen.
How much time do we have left?
Look, we have way too much time left over.
We have a lot of time.
Yeah, we have a lot of time left over.
Okay, so we're gonna fantasy book how to make Raw Underground actually cool.
I don't really want to. I mean, all you have to do is
Make it a YouTube show.
Make it a YouTube show.
No.
Put it on YouTube.
No.
Put it out for free. Make the entire thing about 1 hour long and have it premiere right after Raw goes off the air.
No. It does not need to be a YouTube show.
Yes.
You know what you do? You take that.
No. Even better is you have it be part of Raw, but it is still a YouTube show. What you do is you see people entering into that back room. And there's a dude standing on the outside. Somebody else tries to enter. Like, who's a good backstage interviewer?
Who knows who they have anymore?
I don't know. Backstage interview wants to get in, and the camera crew is right there, and they're like, no, you're not on the list. And doesn't explain, you don't belong, you don't have clearance to be in here. Opens the door up for another person that we don't really know who, but they just enter. Or we see, Triple H walks in there one day, and they're like, what is going on in there? And finally, one day, they're like, well, what is it? And, Shane just check. Yeah, all I got to say to you, Raw Underground. That's all I got to say. And closes the door. And then, so you go to YouTube and you look up Raw Underground, and then there's this show, which you don't talk about. It's the first rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about it.
You don't talk about Fight Club.
All you could do is Shane hints at it once or twice, and people you give Raw a buzzword of Raw Underground. You're like, what the hell is Raw Underground? This doesn't make any sense. Finally, somebody just goes, oh man, I caught it last week. It's on YouTube. You should go check it out.
No.
Eventually. Or they kayfabe YouTube doesn't even exist in their world.
No, you don't make it a YouTube show. What you do is you take the steel cage fight that Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher had on NXT about a month ago.
Okay.
You take that concept and you put it in the same area that they did there. So you actually have the cage, because it's supposed to be an MMA style simulation and everything. But you have that cage because you can get up on top of the cage like they did. You can jump down below, but you have do that. Basically, do what they did. That entire matchup is how they simulated it. That's what you do, and don't have so many goddamn fucking camera angles.
Yes. 70 camera cuts is too many cuts. Stop it.
And also not have Shane do yell commentary over a loudspeaker in the back.
Yeah, that was another weird thing.
No.
The entire thing is weird.
Yes, that would make sense if you were holding an actual event underground with no cameras for TV. That would make sense to do that.
Yeah.
But you are on TV. You're putting it on TV, so it's natural to actually have real commentary. I get it, but that wouldn't feel like real underground. So having it on TV would makes it feel not like underground.
Yeah.
But no, just having that simulated MMA in a steel cage fight.
Put a cage around them.
With no ropes. That is what you do. That's how you do it.
Or even better, don't even have like a raised, because it's what? Basically a raised platform.
It's a ring with no ropes.
Get rid of it completely. You basically make it a pit fight, a bunch of people just cheering on, and have it work around the room. like an underground fight does. They don't have rings. They don't even have a raised platform. It's literally the floor of a warehouse somewhere where people are just fighting each other. Also change up the rules that you go, because I know one of the rules in a number of underground fighting rings. I've never been to one myself. Just gonna say that. Plausible deniability. Nobody could prove I was there anyway. And it's a 20 count after a knockdown. It's not a 10 count. Boom, you knock them down and they can get up. Guess what? You can continue to punch them.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. With
this also could devolve into the brawl for all.
Well, the cage fight that Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle had, that was basically the rules was you can only win by submission, knockout. That was the rules. But it was a kayfabe MMA fight, like technical. It was really good. That's what you do with it, but yeah, it's just...
Twitter brought up a picture of Liv Morgan. Hi, Liv. How you doing?
But the whole thing is like, it was enough to bump the ratings by a whole 100,000. Ooh, shows that Shane's a draw.
Yeah,
for 100,000 people.
Nobody had any idea what Shane was going to be presenting, so there was a thing happening.
And also, you can make the case that there are a bunch of people who are constantly who don't watch Raw consistently more because it sucks, who tune back in every so often just to see.
Yeah.
Maybe they heard something about going on, or they just happened that day that they're going to check it out because they could, and they stay tuned because of it. But a whole 100,000 where your network wants you to be in the threes and you can't even bump it up with a new idea, but. Great, but it doesn't mean anything because you know what? In 2 more weeks, Vince will get sick of it and he'll drop it.
Of course, that's how it always works.
So, because Vince is just in a wacky mood. He's like, "Oh, it's not working anymore. I don't like this anymore. Let's move on to something else." Or he'll have it devolve into the 24/7 championship element, where it's like they still do it, but it doesn't mean anything. It's no longer cool, and there'll be weeks where they won't even do anything with it, and they're like, "Oh, let's bring it back."
No. I kind of feel that Raw Underground should be its own special thing. It would be cool if that was actually part of the network. That they keep hinting at it on Raw, and they'd be like, go to the network right after the show tonight, and Raw Underground will be on.
But the whole reason why it would never work as a YouTube channel or a network channel special is because it's meant to raise ratings for Raw.
I know, but as a concept...
Yes,
it would
I
work
agree.
better as an exclusive thing.
Yes.
On the peripheral.
But because they don't want exclusive things, they want ratings because their entire market is TV ratings because that's what they've thrown their money into.
So this entire thing is, what, is it going to take up 1 hour of Raw now? Or are they going to be cutting back and forth?
Well, they cut back and forth throughout the show. And Tom Phillips was like, well, that was interesting. I wonder what that was. You don't talk about Fight Club.
I mean, it would be one thing. Actually, a better idea would be it keeps taking over sections of Raw.
But by the way, I have a question for the WWE dynamic is how come Raw was having technical issues the entire night, but when they cut to the underground,
That-
they had no problems whatsoever.
And the underground is supposedly taking place in the exact same building.
Yeah, so
And Retribution was doing all of this stuff backstage and attacked a quote-unquote power transformer
when there's a power
feet away from a power transformer.
transformer.
Look, if you're going to frame something and you're going to have, someone someone's attacking a car, you're not going to put in another car.
Something that is supposed to look like a car, but it's clearly not a car.
Yeah. You're not going to put that in the background.
Yeah. Okay, let's. Oh, by the way, we gotta talk about this because this new Retribution stable
Yes.
is supposed to be chaotic group that's rallying against the WWE machine as it is. It has been drawn to comparisons of a certain group in reality called Antifa.
Antifa.
And what is it?
Antifa.
Antifa.
Well, actually, it would be...
I've heard people call it Antifa as well.
Yeah, no, those are people who just don't know how to pronounce anything correct.
Which is everyone in the media.
Do they pronounce it anti?
So,
actually, anti-lock brakes. Yeah, never mind.
So anyone in the media basically says it wrong.
Everyone's entitled to their own pronunciations. They're all wrong. Anyway.
But yeah, the whole thing was, the idea behind this was drawing comparisons, but not political. It's supposed to be to rally against the WWE standard of everything. But when people are referring to it as Antifa, as what this group is supposed to be rallying at, it's going to be calling political, regardless of they're never going to do anything political with the group and tie in. But when people say, Lily, compare it to Antifa behind the scenes, that's not okay.
It's going to it's going to burn out.
Yeah. And it's going to
not in a good way.
Yeah. And we already know it's going to be Undisputed Era with Dominic Kovacic as the leader because he's tall.
Because Adam Cole is going to lose to Pat McAfee.
Because he's a teeny tiny man.
NXT Triple X. Triple the X action. With Vin Diesel as special guest.
As Xander Cage.
With
The Rock standing by. Hey, Hobbs, what are you doing here?
I'm Dwayne.
I'm The Rock, and you don't know. And you're supposed to be Xander Cage. All right. Hans, what are you doing here?
God damn it. You know what? Turns around. The Rock turns around to just face Triple H. He's like, Paul, fuck you. Pay me my money and I'm getting out of it. Paul, I'm not cool. Hunter walks up and he's just like, "Oh, Rock, this is hilarious."
No.
He's like,
no. You call me my real name.
Real name right now. Call me Dwayne. Call me Dwayne.
All right, I'm sorry, Dwayne. Here's your money.
Thank you. Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you. Just as he's walking away, one finger up, holding the bag of cash.
And Van, here's your money. He hands him like 6 duffel bags.
Six duffel bags. All in ones, though.
Yeah, all in ones. Who he then straps it on, gets on a bike,
revs it up,
ready to go to do like a trick. But then you see
the stuntman drives by.
Well, he tiptoes out the back door.
Walks out the back door holding all of his bags of cash singles.
Of course, the stunt devil has duffel bags to make it to look like it's actually him.
He looks nothing like Vin Diesel, though.
He's overweight.
Oh, no, he's really underweight.
He's underweight. He's a stick. But and he actually only has like 3 bags, which clearly Vin
it's actually like Adam Cole.
And he's shorter than Vin Diesel. But yeah, but no, it's just like overall, like everything, like oh my god, it's like I get you're trying to do something new, which is cool. I'll give you credit for that.
Yes,
but what you did, how you went about it, is just like we've seen you try to do something cool and something new, but you get old. Vince gets tired of it within 3 weeks and stops.
I know.
But you know the funny thing is that I read an article. I think it was on Wrestling Inc. Pretty much the answer to Vince's whole idea, like for the ratings, is like what they're going to be using going forward now, is everything that worked in the '90s. They're really going to try to basically rip off the Attitude Era.
Yep.
Bring it back in a new take for now to help try to improve the ratings.
It's circular storytelling. But eventually it's going to come back.
But here's the thing, though.
Just like Griff Garrison.
But here's the thing, though. You're gonna try to rip off the '90s, the Attitude Era, but this time Vince is in his '70s, so he's gonna totally fuck it up.
Oh, no. See, what it's actually going to be is it's either Hunter or Shane who will be the Vince McMahon of this era.
No, it won't. Because, well, apparently Triple H is already helping out on Raw and SmackDown.
Well,
Doubt
yeah.
it. Doubt it. That's just an excuse you give to the investors who are wondering that, the guy who actually can increase his show's ratings, improve it. Why don't you, there's a chance of giving him power? Oh, he's already working, but the ratings aren't going up. Oh, that's because he has no real say or anything.
No.
But no, the idea is just like, they're gonna rip it off. It's not gonna work. Oh, and by the way, if anything, you know what Vince will never get tired of?
What?
Look at the sexy dance girls.
Look at him. Oh my God. All right.
And by the way, it was a great when Ali put a picture of Chopper Pete in there dancing as part of one of it. Look at the sexy dance girls.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody really wants to see that. That's no.
That's gonna be our new segue from going forward. Every time we have the segue, it's like, look at the sexy dance girls.
Yeah, segues are definitely dying.
How much time do we have left?
Look, we got enough time to putz around, but I got nothing left in the tank for this. I am gassed like Lawrence Taylor right now.
After 30 seconds of Wrestling Bang below,
in
the main event of WrestleMania 11,
I am gassed like Goldberg in every one of his matches. I got nothing for you, man. I can't do a jackhammer, okay? You might be able to get a spear out of me.
If you try to do a jackhammer, you're gonna get a suplex that will possibly
looks more like a brain buster.
That will possibly kill the Undertaker.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You know it.
Fine. Let's wrap up the show.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us know down what you thought about the show. Give your thoughts on Raw Underground. How would you make it better? Because it's not a bad concept, but it needs...
How would you make Raw great again? Murga.
Oh, God.
Or Mr. Gah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let us know down in the comment section.
I've broken Tim. I broke him. It's great.
You didn't break me. It's just like, that's the stupidest thing you can say. But yeah, let us know down in the comment section. While you're at it, you've been listening to how long?
An hour and 15-ish.
Hour and 15-ish minutes. So go ahead and give us a thumbs up. You're clearly liking what you're listening to. And then it's right there. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Ding!
Ring that bell.
Ding! Ding!
And get bent like Adam's stupid Murga comment and 5G.
Fuck you. Fuck you.